Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Always Bare For You collection from OPI. This is, I guess technically they're sheer shades or sheer, is that what they used to call them? They used to do like in the spring, they used to have a small collection of sheers that came out every year. I think they just called them sheer shades. It's been so long since they've done like, followed their normal pattern that I don't remember, but this is the Always Bare For You collection. 6 kind of sheer neutral soft colors. So these came to me from polishpick.com, so I will link that website down below and I'll get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Baby Take A Vow, and this is a sheer baby pink. So this one is obviously very sheer on that first coat. It does build up a little bit. You can see my pinky fingernail is like very, very broken and sad at the moment. I broke that like 10 days ago and it just will not grow. And normally I would file the rest of the nails down to make them match a little bit more, but I wanted to hold out for this video because these polishes are sheer and I wanted there to be a lot of nail lines so you could see just how sheer they really were. After this video, I will even them all out a little bit more. So you can see that the second coat does start to build up here. Since I was blabbing away on the last coat, I have a few things to mention. This does cover fairly evenly, but you can see, I don't know if you noticed it on the first coat, but some of the polish was running down to the sides of the nail a little bit. This does have a pretty good formula. It's not too thick or too thin, but it will run if you do too thick of a coat, which I think I had on the last coat. And yeah, those ridges are still there, so if you see streaks there, ignore them. I'm being really stubborn about replacing my buffing block that's been missing for months, even though it's probably going to be like $1 to replace. So this one builds up pretty nicely on that third coat, but you can still see a little bit of nail line, which is kind of the point of these polishes. On that third coat, it does get opaque enough that any uneven spots do kind of disappear a bit. I'm not expecting this ridge to disappear. Kind of forgot about that, honestly, until I started doing this just now. And this does dry pretty shiny as well. Not completely even. I've got a little bit of a streak there in the center of this nail, too. Try to even it out. It's still there a little bit, but it's not terrible. So that is 3 coats of Baby Take A Vow. The next polish is called Bare My Soul, and this is a slightly darker, more nudie pink. Here it is next to Baby Take A Vow, so you can see the difference, which actually doesn't look as drastic as it is in person. They're different, I swear. So this one is also very sheer on the first coat. These are all meant to be more sheer jelly polishes. I've mentioned this before when I swatched very sheer polishes, that it's important that how many times can I say sheer? That a sheer polish is even, because if it does have a lot of streaks and it's not a polish that you can build up to full opacity, those streaks are always going to show. So this one is so sheer that I think it's a little bit hard to tell just yet if it's even. You'll be able to see that, I think, a little bit better in the next coat. The formula on this one feels really good, and this doesn't seem like it wants to run and pool down to the sides of my nails quite as much as the last one did. So this one does start to build up a bit on that second coat. You can see you get a little bit more color out of it. This one, I think it's a little more opaque than it's looking just because it is pretty close to my skin tone. So far it looks like it's pretty even as well. So this one does build up pretty nicely by the time you get to the third coat. You do get a considerably, you do get considerably more opaque with that third coat, but obviously there's still a lot of nail line showing. You start to get a little bit closer to the color that's in the bottle as well. And so far this one looks pretty even. There aren't a ton of streaks or dark spots that are showing through the color at all. A little bit on my ring finger there again, but not terrible. So that is 3 coats of Bare My Soul. The next polish is called Engagement to Be, and this is a sheer gray jelly. Again, very sheer on the first coat. I do really like the addition of colors that aren't just neutral or nude colors. This one also doesn't seem to be running too much to the sides of the nail. A little bit, not terrible. Good formula on this as well, and it is, again, hard to tell on the first coat because it is so sheer, but it looks like it's fairly even also. So this one is starting to build up a bit on that second coat. You can see that gray color coming through a little bit better. It still seems like it's getting a little bit thicker on the edges of my nails. I didn't notice it as much with the first coat as I am with the second. And holy cuticle flooding. I had way too much polish on my brush. Much thicker coat on that middle finger. I think I might have messed this up a little bit. We're just going to ignore that middle finger. Okay, so this one does build up pretty decently on the third coat again. Little bit of nail line showing. It's also not completely even. I'm going over it a little bit more just to try to even it out, but there are definitely some spots where you can see more nail through the polish than others. This would probably be very good for sandwiching glitter in between layers of it. So you'd put a couple of coats on, put some glitter on, and then another layer of the polish over top of the glitter, and it gives it a little bit of a, I don't know, like it's recessed into the polish kind of look. You can see, look how uneven this is. There's so much more nail line here than on the other ones, just based on the difference in the thickness of the coats. But also if you jelly sandwich with it, because it was so sheer on that first coat, I feel like you might even want to do 2 coats of the jelly over the glitter to make it really look like it's sunk in. So that is 3 coats of Engagement to Be. So that is 3 coats of Engagement to Be. The next polish is called Ring Bearer, and this is a blue jelly, but it has like a little splash of green to it. It's not like a true blue. So this one is also pretty sheer on that first coat. I do wish that these jellies, the gray and this blue one, not so much the more neutral pinky ones, but these ones that actually are meant to be a different color than your skin, I do wish they had a little bit more pigment to them than they do. And like, who wants just 1 coat of an almost gray looking, you know, it's just, I don't know. Formula on this one feels pretty good. Does want to run down to the sides of the nail a little bit, but still nothing quite as intense as that first pink was. So this one does start to build up a bit on that second coat, but not too much. It does seem to dry pretty shiny. So this is what this one looks like at 3 coats. You get a bit more of that blue color. A little bit uneven. There is still a bit of nail line showing. And then a lot more nail line on my ring finger. I think I've been doing thinner coats there today. So that is 3 coats of Ring Bearer. The next polish is called Chiffon-d Of You, and this is a very pearly, almost pink. It just looks very neutral on camera, but it has a little bit of pink to it in person. So this one is also a bit sheer on that first coat and definitely has some brush strokes when it's wet. That pearl shimmer is picking up on camera way stronger than it looks from the angle that I'm at right now. It looks way less sheer on camera. If I tilt it that way, you can see once the light's not reflecting off that shimmer. And good formula on this one. So this one does start to build up in 2 coats. It's hard to tell on the first because it was a little bit sheer, but it does look like a lot of those brush strokes calmed down, dissipated. And this one does dry pretty shiny as well. So that pearly base that's in there does build up pretty nicely on that third coat. I can still see my nail line from certain angles, but it's not very, very obvious. And most of those brush strokes do go away as it dries, but you still want to be sure to try to make them as straight as possible. If they're too crazy, they will still show. So that is 3 coats of Chiffon-d Of You. The next polish is called Throw Me a Kiss. This is a very, very light pink. It is, whoa. Oh, look, it's spinning. It is shimmery, but if you look, it's going to be hard to see. You can see the particles are a little bit bigger, so it has like a glittery shimmer to it without actually having chunky glitter, and there's also a slight pink shimmer that runs throughout it as well. So this one is pretty sheer on the first coat, but you can see it is very, very sparkly. And I am like really flooding my cuticles a lot today. You can see that pink shimmer, hopefully, standing out in there as well. And good formula on this one. So this one does start to build up a bit on that second coat. I can still see my nail line pretty well though. And I said before that this, even though it has a kind of scattered glittery shimmer to it, it doesn't have actual glitter, so it doesn't dry gritty and it's not going to be difficult to remove. So again, this one builds up a bit more between coats 2 and 3, but it's still sheer. You can still see the nail line. The pink shimmer is standing out pretty well. It's not like a really in-your-face shimmer, but it's definitely there. And I said before that this won't be difficult to remove, but some of those little sparkles will probably stick to the skin when you take the polish off. So that is 3 coats of Throw Me a Kiss. So I have to give an honorable mention to Ring Bearer and Engagement to Be because I really like that they did these sheer but not like skin tone colored neutrals. They were a little bit hard for me to even out, but not the worst I've ever used. but I like what they did with these regardless. And then, of course, Baby Take A Vow is going to be my favorite because sheer milky pink polishes are the best. So that is the Always Bare For You collection from OPI. Again, those came from polishpick.com, so I will link that website down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later.